Welcome to Off the Record OTR. If you're nasty, joining us here in the garage, we got longtime friend of the show, our buddy Fig, is dropping by for a case update and to talk about some of the other information that may be leaking out of Carroll County, Indiana. But you wanted to discuss some aspects of the Delphi murder case. And so we thought we'd let you pepper us with a few questions and open it up to a little bit of discussion in that regard as well while you're here.
Hey, thank you for having me on, the Colonel and the Captain. Really appreciate it. I first heard about True Crime Garage from my cousin's case. You guys covered it episodes 337 and 338. So thank you for your coverage on that. It meant a lot to me. The trial just concluded for my cousin, Tristan Beaudet. The defendant was found guilty of second-degree murder charges. So yeah, there's definitely a little bit of closure there. I own my own business consulting firm where we go into large organizations and help solve complex problems. I also do some consulting for local law enforcement. So I was able to help with a few things on my cousin's case to help the DA out. And really probably why we're talking today is when I took that challenge on of helping my cousin's case out, I thought maybe I could take on another case and see if I could help with them. So I'm trying to apply my problem solving skills, my organizational development analysis that I do in business consulting, and see if I could help on another case. And I did that with the Delphi murders case. So I've been looking into that for the last couple of years, trying to build relationships and something cool. Recently, I was able to put out a documentary that was made by Hannah Shakespeare and her team. And that is on my YouTube channel, Fig Solves, which is free. It's not monetized. And if you haven't seen that, it's really interesting. It was supposed to come out in 2019, but it's out now, and it's kind of cool to look back on.
And it looks like you had a rather powerful prediction that you made about the investigation and about a possible suspect. This just a few weeks before the arrest of Richard Allen. Do you want to tell us about your prediction that you made back in October of last year?
Yeah, so right before the arrest, I spent a lot of time looking at the case holistically, analyzing some of the things that law enforcement was saying, some of the behaviors that they displayed. And when you really look at this case holistically from end to end, it just showed law enforcement, they didn't know who the killer was. And also part of why I had this prediction too was that there's a lot of people on YouTube or putting out content that were so sure that the killer was Ron Logan or Keegan Kline. And I don't know if they realize what that does to the investigation. So when people would put out things that made it seem like the killer was Ron Logan and that this case is solved, people won't tune in anymore. And I thought that was really bad for the case, really bad for the family. And I think a lot of the reason why they actually found a killer on this case is because of all the coverage and the attention that this case got. So yeah, I think it was a lot of the pressure that was put on, and you guys were a big part of that. You guys were the first ones I learned about Delphi, and you guys covered it early. So I think that is amazing. And yeah, so my prediction basically was they didn't know who the killer was yet. It's not all these people that they were naming. It was some unknown white male. That was my prediction. And then they arrested an unknown white male, someone that no one has heard of before, someone who was hiding in plain sight, Richard Allen.
So Fig, what we're saying here and what you were saying back in October was not that we don't know, not just that we don't know who is responsible. And from what you were seeing and everything you were hearing, that law enforcement did not know who was responsible for the murders of Libby and Abby either at that time, but that it was not, that Bridge Guy was not Ron Logan, Keegan Kline, or his father, Tony Kline.
Right. And I think they definitely pursued all of those people. They looked into them multiple times, search warrants, and they just couldn't find anything that would either connect them to the murders or put them there in Delphi on February 13th. So yeah, I think that they looked into people hard and they couldn't find anything, and they were pretty much convinced that it's someone else. They don't know who.
Well, and I used to play a lot of poker back in the day. Not so much anymore. Don't know what happened with that hobby, but it seems to have faded away for me. But, you know, in poker, you're playing the percentages.